Okay. Now we'll move to our next topic, house significance. See, we will be talking about what are the significances of the house. What does first house say? Right? What does second house say? So there are 12 different domains of our life which are covered in this house significance, right? But this topic is about what are the attributes of the house, right? In the next class we will I'll teach you how the house will be evaluated. How do you drive that? How this house will affect us? What does this house has to say about us, right? So these are 12 different domains of your life, right? 12 houses, 12 different domains. Every house has its own attribute, own significances, right? So if you need finances, the planet which is in the second house will give you, from the planet which is placed in second house will help you drive from where your wealth will come, right? Similarly, what profession you will go, 10th house will tell, right? So presently in this class we'll talk about house significances, right? Next class we will discuss how to analyze a house, that how this house will give us results, right? What planet is there in this house, right? If there is no planet in a house, how would that give us a result, right? Then we will also discuss about aspects, right? But in this present class, we'll talk about is house significance, right? So your first house, uh, all right, just a second. Are you able to see the slide?
Not yet.
All right. So you need to listen things and start noting. You will get the presentation because I show you the presentation, you will just watch, you will not listen. So I'll explain you the things, right? And then this presentation will be shared with you so that you're able to get a clear picture, right? So your first house, the ascendant, that is you yourself, right? Your first house happens to represent you yourself. So significance of first house for any ascendant, what does the first house say? It will tell about how you will look, right? How would your physical body be, right? What are your priorities in life? What is that you want to achieve? What is that you feel like doing? Your appearance, your attitude. You will find some people very energetic and some people very slow in their life, right? This first house, the planet which is associated with first house or the planet which is sitting in first house will show you the traits, your build, your appearance, what are your priorities, your behavior, right? And this will also show your self efforts to achieve something, right? I'm just giving an example. We will do it in the later class. For example, if you have Mars placed in your first house and you are an Aries ascendant, so Mars is very, very strong, right? You will see when we will study about the significance of planets, Mars's actions. It has this thing to do things in a very fast way, right? So first house significance will get emphasized by the planet which will sit in that house, right? Planet sitting in the first house will affect your appearance, the way you are thinking, which area you will get engaged throughout your life, right? So this is the significance of first house. Clear? So we'll move to the second house. See, here you are born, you are a child, you're crying, right? So after you start walking, what is the next thing? You need you need resources for sustenance. What are the resources? You need food, right? So second house attribute significance is that food that we eat, right? So in the first class you had studied gun, satav, rajas and tamas. So if there is a tamas sign or tamas planet in this place, then you would like spicy food, right? Non-veg food. But if there is a planet which is having sattva trade, right, or a sattva planet, then you would like to have a very simple food, right? So you are getting the connection of the first class that we had, right?
Yes.
Then second house, what else you need to sustain yourself? What is the other source that you need? Wealth,
Money.
finance. So second house is your finance also, right? The planet which will be sitting in second house will be the planet which will tell you from where the wealth will come, right? The house lordships that that planet have will also help you to know from where the wealth will come, right? For example, if there is a fourth lord sitting in second house, right? So what does the fourth house significance say? We'll be
Mom.
coming to the fourth house also. Fourth house is property, land,
Mm-hmm.
right? Fourth house is your vehicles, right? So where will the money come from? You could do a real estate business, right? Second house is also your complete family. When a child is born, he stays with his grandparents, he stays with his brother, he stays with his mother, he stays with father, right? So second house is also your whole family,
Mm.
right? What does second house further traits are? You're staying in a family, right? If your family is giving you good care, it is teaching you something. You will learn good things, you will acquire good knowledge. But if you are born in a very poor family,
Mm.
they are begging for work, they will not give time to you,
Mhm.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So this house is also connected to your upbringing,
Okay.
right? So the planet which is placed in this house will show how your upbringing would be, right? So you are born, you're crying, after some time you start speaking, right? So second house is speech also, because you need to speak to get something.
Mm-hmm.
To sustain, you need sources, and for resources, you need to speak. So it is your speech also. It is the quality of words, but how good your communication will be, that will be derived from third house,
Mm.
right? Planet sitting in second house will give source of wealth, the way you will speak, the food buds that you will like. All right. So coming to the third house. So third house, what does third house say? Third house, if you see the lordship, Mercury's lordship in the time chart, right?
Mm.
So Mercury is all about communication.
Education. Communication.
We'll come to the education house later. We are not doing planet significance. We're just
Okay.
trying to understand what Mercury house will say.
Got it.
So you could be a very good in writing. You could do skills with your hand. Okay, I'll tell the body parts also along with it. That will bring more understanding to you. Your first house happens to represent your head, right? That is your brain and everything. Second house is your nose, chin, your neck, right?
Jupiter.
So third house happens to represent your arms, your hands, right? So it also happens to represent the things that are done by hand, writing skills, right? Making sculptures and artist hands, right? This is also short travels. Your short journeys are seen through third house.
Hmm.
So a planet sitting in third house, when the dasha comes of that planet, dasha and antardasha and mahadasha, we'll talk about dashas later. I'm just giving you an outline about this house. So a planet whose dasha of third house is coming might give you travels, short travels,
Mhm.
right? Third house is house of courage also, right? If Mars is sitting here, you will have lot of courage. But
Mm.
if there is a planet Jupiter sitting over here, you might try and resolve things by talks, because Jupiter is not a
Jupiter.
planet that has Martian traits, right? If there is a Mercury over here, you will give logics and explain things to him, right? Third house is your attractions also. What would attract you? That is what third house will tell. The planet sitting in this house, or the planets which are seeing him or emphasizing their energies, will help you understand what are the attraction points that a person has. Third house will also show what hobbies you have, right? Third house is also considered as change of your residence, right? See, every house, the next house, the second house from every house is considered as resource for that particular house, right? And any house which is 12th from a particular house is considered as a house which will minus the effect of the next house. For example, your first house you are, second house is your sustenance, and 12th house is your departing of your soul from this world, right? So if you see the third house, why is it change of residence? Because fourth house, when we'll study the house significance, you will find that your immediate family where you're staying, the house that you're staying, is fourth house. So I just explained that 12th from any house will will mitigate the results of the next house. So fourth house is your residence. Third house is 12th from fourth house, is loss of change of residence. You'll shift to some other place, right? Third house also happens to represent your young siblings, your brothers and sisters. So if there is a question that I want to do an agency business, I want to take an agency and do business, then you need to see the third house. Agency business is third house. Third house is your neighbors also. Second house is your family, right? If your family is in trouble, who would come in a quick help? Your neighbors would come in quick help. So your third house happens to represent neighbors also. The commission that you earn, the commission business that you do, also comes from third house. The gadgets that we use, online gadgets that we use mobile, we use laptop, all these gadgets, electronic gadgets come from third house. Third house is data also, and third house is documentation also, right? For example, if person is going for an interview, this interview is also the third house, right? Documents, if a person is applying for a visa, will he get a document or not? That your third house will tell, right? If the third house lord is sitting in 11th house, 11th house is your desire fulfillment. He has applied for a visa and he is having a dasha of third house, which is placed in 11th house. So will he be able to get a visa or not? Definitely he will be able to get visa because the desire fulfillment house is active. The Lord of third is sitting in 11th. That is how you will evaluate houses, which we'll take up in the next class. Right? Planet sitting in this third house is the one which will tell your interests, about your hobbies, what your communication would be. Right? See, I've just explained it's your hands, right? And your hands have this artistic thing in you, right? So presentations are connected to this third house because presentation is communication. You have the skill of artist. You know how to make presentations. You are good in presenting yourself in the public domain. So presentation, where does presentations use? It's used in marketing. So marketing, people who are into marketing, their profession house, 10th house, will be connected to third house. They would be in marketing. These are the attributes of third house, right? So we'll move to the next house, fourth house. What does fourth house say? Fourth house is your residence, where you stay, right? It is your immediate family. Your complete family was second house. Your fourth family is your immediate family. Or if you are staying in a tenanted house, if you are a tenant in a house, that house will be represented by fourth house, right? The family with which you will stay in that house, right? It could be landlords with whom you are staying, that will be seen through fourth house. Fourth house also happens to represent your comforts. What comforts you will get, the luxuries of life, right? It is your domestic happiness also, right? This is the house which is connected to Vastu also, right? So if a person who has fourth lord sitting in 10th house, he might be connected to real estate. He might be connected to Vastu. Your fourth house needs to be connected to your profession, right? Fourth house also happens to represent vehicles. Fourth house also happens to represent your mother. If there is a bad planet sitting here, if there is an enemy planet sitting over here, right? For example, if we take ascendant as Leo, right? And in fourth house, the sign that comes is Mars, Scorpio sign. Am I clear? And if there is a Saturn sitting here, what would the Saturn do? Saturn sitting in Mars sign. Is it a friend or an enemy? When you will check, you will find that Saturn is an enemy to Mars. So whenever that person will undergo Saturn Dasha, he might have problems related to property. Or maybe her mother health might get affected. Problem related to bones or eyes can come up because Saturn significances are connected to these things, right? Your private life can be evaluated from fourth house, right? The fourth house is very much important, whereas your mindset is concerned. If fourth house is bad, your mindset will not be stable. Your emotional imbalance will be very high. You will find people who are very good outside, they're doing everything, but from inside, from their heart, they're not happy. This is because their fourth house, when gets damaged, right? They feel emotional insecurity. Bad condition of this house will bring problems to that person. So in India, a lot of people ask, will I be able to go to foreign country? How do we evaluate that? When your residence place is affected by bad planets, then you will move to some other country. Bad planets will not let you stay in your residence where you are born. So the first condition to move foreign is, yeah, that your fourth house should have bad planets or bad effect of planets, right? So coming to the fifth house, the next house. Fifth house is your intelligence. This is a very, very important house. If you don't have a good intelligence, you will not be able to give good advice. So your intelligence has to be good. If this house is damaged, it's a damage to your intelligence. As an astrologer, if your fifth house is damaged, you will not be able to advise good remedies. This is how house of solutions also. So this house needs to be very good. This house is connected to our past good and bad karmas. It is to do with more to do with good karmas, the good deeds that we have done in past, right? This is the place where creativity is seen. How creative you are. The planet sitting here will tell what are your creative skills. If a Venus is sitting, you are a very creative person, right? This is house of advisory also, right? This is the prime house of education. So a lot of people have questions, how would my child study? So you need to evaluate fifth house. Where is the Lord sitting? Which is the planet sitting, right? If education house has the 10th Lord, if the 10th house Lord is sitting in fifth house, then to earn a profession, to any profession, he needs to educate himself. He will get into that profession, right? So this is connected to our education. This is also connected to share trading, speculation, right? Because these are some decisions that you need to take on very quick note. This is also the house of entertainment. If this house doesn't have good planets, then there will be lack of entertainment in your life, right? So intelligence is something that you need to, that God doesn't give you, that you have to gain yourself by reading books and all, right? Lot of questions are there about children, when my children's will be born. So your first child is seen through fifth house, right? Planet sitting over here will tell you, will be the reason what kind of children's you are going to get. If there is a Mars sitting, you would get a child who's very much energetic, right? It is connected to your past good karmas. If the house is bad, then the children's that will be born in that particular person's family, the chart reading of the person that you will do, the children's will be according to what the planet is sitting there or the influence of planets that it has. Some people, they have problems that why am I not having children's? So suppose Saturn is sitting here in this house. Saturn is a slow moving planet, right? It is a very cold planet, right? So it has a habit of delaying things because it's moving very slowly. So if Saturn is sitting, then there might be delay of children's, but not denial of children's, right? So when we'll study the significance of the planets and how you decode the houses in the next class, you'll get a better picture, right? So to to describe any alignment or any remedy, this house needs to be in a very good position. So when you are recommending any remedies, you should evaluate the fifth house. Proper inspection needs to be done for the fifth house, right? So next house is sixth house. Sixth house are your debts, the enemies that you will face. Sixth house is also connected to the disease that you will get, right? The planet which is associated of sitting in this house will cause the disease, right? It is also a house of a person's six inner enemies. What are these enemies? Greed, anger, lust, desires, pride, arrogance. These are the six biggest enemies of a person. This is represented by sixth house. This house is also the house of competition because it is challenges that a person faces every day. So it is connected to your competition. If you are appearing for any exam, this house lord needs to be in good condition. This house also happens to represent sports, right? Since it happens to represent enemies, so to settle things with enemy, where do you go? You go to court. So it is also connected to court cases, your litigation part. It is also connected to your service, right? If a person is in job, then this house needs to be evaluated properly. If good planets are associated, he will do good in his job, in his service. So going to court, what do you need? Whose service do you need? I just said, I have just told you services house. So lawyers are associated with this house. When you are ill, whose service do you require? Doctors. When which this house will tell you which planet will be the reason for your debts. So who provides loans and everything? Financiers. So this house is of loans also. If a person is looking for a loan and his sixth house is active and the Lord is sitting in 11th house, which is house of gains, his loan will get approved. This house is also your daily routine, right? If a person, you find a person in everyday life, he's always one problem or the other problem, that means his sixth house is damaged. Sixth house is your disease. So how do you improve your disease? By doing a diet. You have a very diet oriented food, right? You exercise. So this house is about exercise also. So there is a problem, there is a solution also available in that particular house, right? So these are the significances of the house, right? This sixth house will indicate which body part will come in physical trouble, right? For example, who would be this sixth house is about enemies, right? So what planet, if a particular planet is sitting in this house, what sort of enemies you will get, right? What would be the cause of those enmity? People will become enemy against you. For example, if Mars is sitting in sixth house, your anger will be the one which will bring enemies to you, right? The more you rise, the more anger will go up and the more enemies you will get. If Sun is placed in sixth house, how do enemies rise? When you rise, when your name, fame rises, so does your enemies will rise. That is how sixth house operates, right? See, 6, 8, 12 houses, if they are in very good condition, they are the biggest houses to give you wealth. Maximum wealth a person which gains is from 6, 8, 12 houses, right? So it is connected to your day-to-day routine also. So when we'll come to the remedial part, how to utilize the significances of a house to balance this thing. If your sixth house is active and you are facing some sort of trouble, then you should set up a routine that will balance your sixth house. You should do some exercise that will help you protection from enemy, right? If you are into profession of doctor, you're already under the significance of sixth house. So you are safeguarded from diseases, from debts, from enemies. This is how the significances are used to balance your house, right? So very important, house 7. Lot of people ask, when will I get married? How will my relationship go? So this is a house which will tell about marriage, right? This will tell about your spouse, how your spouse will look, right? A lot of people have questioned, should I do a partnership business or not? So partnership happens to represent by this house. This house also represents the business that you will do, right? This is also the house where you will have public appearance. It's your clients also. Will I, some people say that, yeah, I am not getting clients. What should I do? You should evaluate the seventh house position, right? Seventh house is also foreign residence, right? Why do I say foreign residence? Fourth house was, if bad, he'll shift to foreign, right? But fourth house was your residence, right? So seventh house is fourth from fourth. If you count four, five, six, seven, so it is fourth from fourth, right? So you might have a foreign residence if you shift to foreign. This house will tell, right? It is also the attainment of a position. If a person is looking to become a market leader or is looking for a promotion, if his seventh house is active, then the chances of attaining a better position are very high. If there is a dasha running of seventh house or seventh lord, then chances are there that you may get rise, right? It all depends on the planet which is associated. Is it under affiliation? How do affiliations work? We'll study in the later classes. Today's class is to understand what significance these houses have. So this house will tell you how your spouse would look like, how your spouse, will he be professional? Will he be a home oriented person? Where will he have control over you? Right? Will it be an arranged marriage or a love marriage? Will that person meet at your professional front? These are the questions usually people ask. So how your spouse will look, from where it will come, will he be having a rich family? All these are evaluated based on seventh, right? The nature of business is also evaluated from seventh house, right? For example, if Mars is placed in seventh house, right? When you will study the significances of seventh house, Mars is sitting, Mars is associated with land, right? You will study that in the significance. So a person could do land business. If a Venus is sitting, Venus has a signification of garments, cloths. So you might be into clothing business. If a Jupiter is sitting here, what business you should do? You should become an advisor, a teacher, a professor, because you will be guiding, you will be giving knowledge to people, right? So this is how seventh house is evaluated. Now to the eighth house. See, eighth house is very important house because it is the house which gives you longevity, your age, right? Second and seventh house are your Marakstan, the ones which impacts your life, right? But it's not necessary that you will die during these dashas. That they can give you pain to that level, right? But eighth house is longevity, but it is also the house of pain and suffering. Because the planet which is placed in this house will be the reason to bring transformation in you. So this house is transformation also, right? This house is connected to hidden knowledge. occult, astrology. If you have lot many planets in this house, you need to practice astrology. You need to learn astrology. This house is also connected to technical knowledge. If you are an engineer, it is connected to eighth house. If you are having a manufacturing company, if you are a manufacturer, eighth house is connected to manufacturing. Eighth house is surgery also, right? It is connected to people who are into surgery. Surgeons are connected to this house. Eighth house is also connected to taxation, right? Eighth house is also connected to accidents, right? These are the attributes of this house. This house has got lot of attributes. It is your in-laws also. How your in-laws will be, your wife's side or your husband's side, you can evaluate by seeing the eighth house, right? This is lottery also, unearned money also, right? If this house has good planets in good positions, you will have uh, good wealth. This house can give you extensive wealth, windfall gains. If you have a very good planet sitting here, if it's not affiliated, if the planet is very much secure, it doesn't have any bad aspects, then that planet can do wonders. That the dasha of that planet will go very good, right? So a good condition of eighth house will give you huge inheritance money. The person can get rich during this period, right? So there is one more important aspect, attribute of eighth house, right? There are two things. One is there is something which has already been decided by God, which is destined, which will happen. Nobody can change other than God, right? If there is an event of an accident, you cannot restrict that. But by aligning the planets, you can reduce the impact of that event, right? So one thing is which is already destined. The other is which is created because of you yourself, right? For example, if Mars is there in the eighth house, right, then you will create faults or problems for yourself. The reason would be your anger, your hurriedness of doing work. You will not have patience level. So whenever you see anybody's Mars in eighth house, you need to tell him that you need to control your anger. Half of the things will start turning his way. If there is Rahu, what does Rahu? How does person come into trouble? If he does morality things, illegal things which are against law, then he would come into trouble, right? Moon, if Moon is situated in eighth house, his emotional imbalance. When he's excited, he will promise, and when something happens, he will not talk to anybody. He needs to bring that emotional balance in him. Then the house will start performing good for him. If Jupiter is situated in eighth house, what will happen? See, Jupiter in eighth house, the problem will start when he is more over charity person, overdoing person. I'll do this also, I'll do that also. At the end, he will be in trouble because he will be filled with lot of work and he'll not be able to do justice. He'll not be able to do any work. So overdoing will bring him in trouble, right? If Saturn is there in eighth house, time management, because time is Saturn. You need to manage time. If he doesn't manage time, then he'll be in trouble. Mercury in eighth house, I'm just giving few outlines of how the planet behaves. The detailing we'll do it in later stage. Mercury is all about speech also, what you talk or how you communicate. So eighth house is problems. Your speech can be the one which can bring you in problem, because words are mightier than sword. So you need to select your words very carefully when Mercury is placed in 8th house, right? Venus, this is the bad placement of Venus, right? One of the baddest place for Venus. It's for both male and female, but more for female, right? Because if Venus is being affected, then chances of that female getting molested are very high. This can happen if she's not sincere towards his love, right? If he has more lust, then chances of getting molested at an early age are very high, especially in the case of female, right? But if there is any good planet seeing to it, any benefic planet seeing to it, then chances are that she would be safeguarded by that planet. So planets sitting will not necessarily act as bad, but it depends on other factors also. Is it affiliated? Is it lord of bad houses? So these all factors will come in, which we'll evaluate in the later stage. So ninth house, just